One, two, and three. Today I'll be interviewing a guest which I watched this video, and thank you so much for uploading your um, deck profile for Cyber Dragons, because I love Cyber Dragons, and I think that your touch on it is pretty cool. Now, can you introduce to yourself to the audience, please? My audience is a little bit different from what normal audiences. It's not Yugituber, but my passion about interviewing people is a little bit different. I want to get perspective of why people like to do what they do, their passion, and why you're into Yu-Gi-Oh. Obviously, you know that I love Yu-Gi-Oh because I have all the Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So, can you introduce yourself, please, to the audience?
Sure. I am Cyberknight. I make a lot of different Yu-Gi-Oh! Mainly openings, I guess, these days on YouTube, and also do some new stuff and different things. And I try to show people new products that are releasing for Yu-Gi-Oh! And try to explain it to the best of my ability, because I'm more casual than than competitive, I guess. So I do a lot of that, do some deck profiles, and just a mix of anything Yu-Gi-Oh!
What make you? Can you go back to the story where? I mean, not back to the story. Can you go back to the time? How did you begin into Yu-Gi-Oh or started in
Yu-Gi-Oh? In like getting into YouTube or just Yu-Gi-Oh in general?
Yeah, no. Oh no. Well, we'll get to that later. But I meant like, how did you get introduced into playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Because you know how like we have all these nostalgic, the Blue Eyes and the Dark Magician. Can you talk about that?
I was introduced to it at school because at first I collected Pokemon and Digimon when they had that card game, and my friends were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like, oh, that looks cool, and started just buying some packs. I remember actually even getting a Legend of Blue Eyes pack back in the day, and actually built a deck using Umi, which is the old, the ocean build spell, and I remember one of my friends always had Black Skull Dragon, and this is before we knew you actually had a fusion summon. He thought you could just play it. And I remember him always using that, and it was, we dueled against each other a lot. And just from there, I started watching the show and got into it, really.
Interesting. Have you, what was your favorite card? Oh, yeah, you often talk about why your name, you like the Knight. But why Cyberknight? Why Knight though?
I don't really have a good answer. It's like how I used to have numbers in my name. Those numbers too. People always ask what did they mean. They didn't really mean anything. They just became part of the channel because it's not like it's my birthday or anything. But with Cyberknight, I don't know. I just thought it sounded cool. Honestly, I wish I had a cool story for it. But I like Cyber Dragon, so that's where the cyber came from. And Knight, I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So I went with that.
Interesting. Why do you like Cyber Dragon? What's the enticing thing about Cyber Dragon you like?
I always like Cyber Dragon just because I like different decks that go for fusions a lot. I'm a big fan of GX. That's one of my favorite series. Even though a lot of people don't talk about GX, I still love it. And I like Cyber Dragon just because you can fuse, and even today you can still fuse some of their cards together and just wipe out your opponent so easily if they're not paying attention. So I've always liked them because you don't want to underestimate them, because you can end up making like an 8,000 attack cyber end and just run over your opponent, and that's still something you can do today. So I've always liked them for that.
Yeah. What was it? I bought because of you. I bought the Cyber Eternity Dragon. It's incredible. Just for the defense. Just for it. Do you mainly collect? Do you also collect them? But also because I noticed myself, I like the artwork. These amazing artwork where I didn't know that they exist until last year I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh. But I bought the starter deck, and it was frustrating because these starter decks aren't like I can't defeat my friends, because we would play Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day in boarding school. And can you explain to me how like these games progress over the years?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, can you explain to me how how like back in the day when the game was really slow and now it's really fast, and how it's really hard, because basically when I get back into it, it was so hard to learn all these mechanics.
Yeah, back in the day, I remember well, I still remember the days where we barely even had fusion summoning. I mean, it was always out, but not many people fused. It was until GX where that became, and then it got a little faster, and it's always, of course, changed. Best way I can compare it is that's the reason I like speed dueling now, is because it reminds me of that. I feel like that's the best way I can try to explain it to people. That because you are using it was back then you basically would just use a strong monster. So that's what I did. I played like Kaiba. You would try to use whatever strongest monster you had. You could summon easily. You wanted to have Blue Eyes White Dragon, and yeah, most people didn't even use the extra deck from what I remember back in the day. Maybe here and there, but again, most of the time we didn't even understand how they worked. I mean, because even the show Flame Swordsman, Joey would just summon him. So I still remember a lot of that and how just different it was. And it was still, we joke about it nowadays, but it's still one of those things where it's like, you had Blue Eyes, you won back in the day, in most cases. So it's changed so much nowadays compared to that.
That is so true. Mission in life is to impact the nation or the education of the world. Because I was a special education, and I thought it was stupid. I also, do you think the current educational system could change a lot of things, in your opinion? Or what's your educational was like?
I don't know.
Well, it's kind of hard, I know, but it's a topic that is a passion dear to me too. That's why I want to bring people in here to talk about.
So you mean like how it's changed so much, how it's a lot harder to explain nowadays, kind of?
Well, okay, so basically, I had trouble in. So basically, okay, for instance, the the way that we measure intelligence is through grades, right? But we all know that intelligence are in different ways, right? Like for instance, I hate history. I wouldn't do well, but I kind of like math today, so I get what, B or A. That's the type of thing. Like I feel like people make education school important. I mean, I don't. That's why I was asking what is your background before I get into it. It's just my story.
For me, I always made pretty good grades. I've only gone through high school. I hadn't done any college. I've been thinking about maybe going back and doing some, but I've kind of gotten where this YouTube thing's been doing pretty well, and I also do construction work. So I'm on school stuff though. I've never been a fan of school stuff. I finished even through homeschooling. I was able to do it. I went till my freshman year, and then I was able to finish up my last 3 years through Tech Online. And I've always just honestly just not been a big fan of school stuff anyway. I don't like how a lot of it works. I mean, even in Texas, we have like the tax test, or I think it's the STAR test now or whatever. So that used to be stressful. I remember because if you didn't pass that test, that was going to be if you went to the next grade or even graduated. It's a big thing over here. And it's funny that you say you didn't like history. That was like the one subject I did really good in, too. That was the one I enjoyed probably, and math was ugh.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that. Like, because for I don't know how for me we've been getting a bad rap from millennials. People bash on us and like because basically you're doing your dream as a Yugituber, and I want to inspire that for many people who like Yu-Gi-Oh and not just only watch Yugitubers, but watch maybe they can follow their dream as you follow your passion. Because I don't like it when people like blame circumstances or like I mean sometimes I feel like they can change. That's my mission in life. Things have changed for me. What made you start your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's well.
What made you? Sorry, go ahead.
Being able to do this has helped me out a lot because I don't talk about this much. Like I don't even know if I've said it in my videos, but I have really bad anxiety, like social anxiety. So it's kind of funny that I'm doing this now. Like I'm a person that doesn't like to talk in front of a lot of people, and now I don't even think about it. But now I have all these people that watch my videos. So it's cool how this has changed because like I said, this first off, this something like my parents were like, really, you're doing this? Because not that they were against it. They're just like they know how I have my anxiety and stuff, so they think it's cool that I'm actually doing this. So I will say it's been really neat how I've been able to do this now for quite a few years, and it's opened up a lot of doors and even helped with Dylan with my issues. I mean, that's honestly one of the reasons too why I don't go to a lot of tournaments and stuff, is because I have bad anxiety. It's something I've been working on. So being able to do this, it's been a really cool dream, and it's even helped with dealing with like that barrier or whatever you want to call it that is tough to deal with when you have all the anxiety.
Well, thank you so much for that. That's pretty cool. That's really touching. Thank you so much for that. Like, wow. Yeah, that's what I've been. Are you introverted?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Are you introverted?
Oh yeah, very badly.
Yeah, yeah. That's what my message is like. You like, cause see, the thing is, you're doing your passion, and my message for all those who love Yu-Gi-Oh as I do and as you do, that they can like they can live the life that they dreamed of instead of trying to say introverted can't win, stuff like that. Because my mission is also to help, even though my content is a little bit different, but my mission is to be able to say, even though, because when I was a kid, elementary school, I was shy. I didn't know how to talk to people. And then until I start reading books, because school didn't help me on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I start reading books on how to talk to people. So do you have any fears, or do you have any fears, and how you overcome them?
With mine, it's just always with that anxiety. Like I even have a hard time going to Walmart and stuff because just so many people. That's something I deal with where and the way I get over a lot of it is I'm just like, sometimes I try to look at my phone more, which is, easier these days, of course. And I have to kind of think like I'm in another spot. Like I have to kind of ignore everyone around me kind of, which I know sounds weird probably, but yeah, that's pretty much what I try to do on it. But I've always had bad anxiety, like ever since I was younger. So that's always been something I've tried to overcome. And again, with this YouTube stuff, it's been something helpful. And I mean, it was hard enough. What was it? 2 years ago, I think there was a convention. I was actually invited as a guest, and that whole time it was really crowded, and I just wanted to run out of there so bad. But I was like, no, I gotta be there. If there's anybody that knows who I am, I gotta meet them. You gotta meet, your fans or viewers. Always feel weird saying fans, but viewers. And I made myself sit there. I was like, no, we gotta do this because without them, none of this happens. So I remember that I was fighting it the whole time, like, please calm down. And I still have, like I said, a very hard time with it.
Wow. Do you also do you watch other also anime besides Yu-Gi-Oh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watch. I don't consider myself like a big time anime watcher, but I watch a lot of the popular stuff. Like of course Dragon Ball. I watch all that. Naruto, Bleach is still like one of my favorites because it helped me get through school. Just because another world.
Wait, did you watch the live action one for Bleach?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Wait, what was it? Wait, what did you say at the end? Toward the end? Sorry, I got excited because you were talking about Bleach and stuff like that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well Bleach, I've always thought of it as like one of my favorites because it helped me out a lot. Just it was one of those things I look forward to after school because I hated going to school too. So that that's always been one of my favorites for that reason. Death Note. I've been watching a lot of Overlord lately and My Hero, but pretty much the popular stuff. I'm not really one of those guys that's like I watch like this indie or anything like that. I'm just like I'm pretty simple on it. Where if it's some kind of new show anime, more than likely I'll watch it.
Did you watch the Bleach live action one? And what did you think about it?
I haven't yet. I don't have Netflix. So I need to check it out.
Oh,
my sister has Netflix, so I need to borrow her account or something. But I haven't. I've heard it was okay. I've heard it's a lot better than the Death Note one. But I don't know.
Wait, are you talking about? Wait, are you talking? You saw the Death Note one for the Japanese version, right?
Yeah, I have seen those, but I know that recently, I think on Netflix or something, they did an English adaptation or something.
Yeah,
I hadn't seen that. I've heard it was bad, but I hadn't seen it.
No, okay. What do you think about these expensive cards that people are buying? Because you do a lot of products reviews.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's something that happens in every card game. Like there's always those cards that are always going to be tougher to get. I am really tired of the short prints that we're seeing these days, though. Like with Infinity Chasers, like I don't get why there's so many short prints in that set. Like even Medusa was super tough to get. And I mean, I feel like I guess with Yugioh, there's always going to be more expensive cards, but I do think we need to stop a lot of the short print stuff. Like it needs to be a little bit more middle of the road, like because it's just with any card game. Like I said, there's going to be one that's going to be more expensive because that's going to be the one that's good and people are going to want to try to get. But also, we need to make sure that we're not going to have too many cards that are like, you might get one per case or something. It need like I said, a little bit more middle of the road. I feel like on it needs to calm down a bit.
When it comes to the way, would you? I'm thinking of because I'm thinking so many. Do you, when it comes to like also anime, do you like act it out? Sorry, because I do when I watch anime like Dragon Ball Z or Yu-Gi-Oh. I usually act it out. Do you usually act it out?
Not really. I mean, sometimes if I play one of the games, I'll start shouting as I'm playing it. Like Xenoverse, go Super Saiyan, 3 on it, and then I have fun on that kind of stuff. But I guess when I was younger, I used to think about it more like if I was, one of the heroes. But
You say heroes. You say heroes. What is there? Like, do you think yourself as also a hero?
oh no, I always have a hard time talking about anything like that. Like it sounds weird, but I even hate saying like on my channel fans. I usually just like to say viewers or subscribers because I'm like I have a hard time believing that someone's a fan of my channel. It just I don't know. Maybe it's just modesty or something, but it just I don't know. I feel undeserving in a way, and I just try to I don't know. I guess it's with my anxiety or whatever. I'm just kind of like whatever, I just try to hopefully people like what I'm making, and I just don't really think of myself as being that many subscribers or anything, honestly.
What make you say yes to my interviews?
No problem.
Just curious. No. I mean, like I'm thankful for like letting me interview, but like, what make you let me do interviewing you? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like how say?
Okay.
What make you say yes to my interview? That's what I'm saying. Because I try to get other YouTubers onto the talk, but what make you say yes?
I don't know. I try to answer people, and if they want to do some kind of video with me, I usually try to do it. So I was like, hey, I have the free time, sure. So I don't know. I just try to if people, which I don't answer everything like I should, but if people try to come to me and ask a question or they want to do a video with me, I always try to make time because again, I mean, it just none of this happens without you guys. So I always try to make sure to do that.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Today you make my day. Like while watching you open packs and talk about packs, it's pretty incredible. It was last year, so last year it started with you probably heard of Simply Unlucky. Roman start opening a pack, and I start watching all you guys. It's pretty cool. It's been pretty cool journey. Tough most of the time. Wow, like because I built the Thunder Dragons. Wishly, it's not. It's like wow. That's not like because I try to test out all these decks, try to see which one is my favorite, like Elemental Sabers or I forgot. I almost forgot about these. What do you think about Elemental Hero? Because Elemental Hero, my friend, back in the day, I never understood about I never watched GX or 5Ds. I got introduced to it through my friends. So I start playing Jason, Yusei, all these decks. But Elemental Hero is one of my favorite decks. Do you think they should have a reprint? I mean, not reprint, retrain?
I don't know. I mean, I love Elemental Heroes too. That was one of my decks that I actually played competitively when I had a locals and all that. I was the only one at school that actually had all the fusions, so I remember that a lot. So they're really nostalgic for me. I don't know if you really could do a retrain or what. It would be cool to like see an effect version of Avion or Stinatrix or something, you know, and
Yeah.
make them kind of work better. But heroes always get so much support. Like I feel like they're one of those that don't really need a retrain. Like they just keep getting new things. Like they just update. So I don't know if I would say retrain on it, but I wouldn't be against it. Obviously, anything that heroes get. I mean, it's one of those archetypes. It's like Dragoonides or something too. It's like, yeah, if they get something new, I'm on board. But I feel like they'll get new support to make them better instead of retrains.
You know the thing. I remember you said one of in your video that you like Dragoonity. But it's thanks to you that because I've been trying to build around the because Neospatian has been an issue. You do it, but it doesn't work sometimes. But with your build, with you put it dark, you put what rainbow dark rainbow something in it.
Yeah,
and
rainbow.
Put, well, it became rainbow. Yeah, it's pretty wicked. But what would you, if you would you, even though you don't see as yourself like not hero, but what type of power would you like to have or would have?
I don't know. I know most people say flight, but I think like teleporting. Like you could do instant transmission like Goku, because I don't really like to travel much. But if I could just do that, you know, just boom, that would be pretty cool. So maybe that's what I would choose. That's a tough one. There's a lot of different things. That'd be pretty cool.
Gosh. When it comes to time travel, would you time travel, and which part of era would you time travel?
I don't know. If I did, maybe I'd probably go back in time just a little bit, because I remember someone asking me this before, and I was like, well, if you go too far back, then you're getting hit with a spear, or you're gonna die at 30. And the future, I don't know, as crazy as things are in the world right now, I don't know if I want to see the future. So maybe go back to the 90s. Because everyone's crazy these days. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to like the 3000 or whatever.
Oh gosh. You think the world that we live in can change, or how can we help it to change? Just like we can see, it's not really good.
I think if just people understand each other, like try to listen to each other, because I feel like it's just, well, both sides. I feel like these days I'm kind of more in the center on politically and everything, but I just a lot of yelling. Both sides are nuts. They want, you know, there's never anyone agreeing on anything in the middle or trying to listen to the other. It's just, no, we want it this way or that way. And I think if people just try to listen and just calm down a bit, things would get a lot better.
Thank you so much for that. What does success look like to you?
I don't know. For me, I'd like to just be able to take a day off every so often. So maybe that's what it is success is whatever you can finally relax a bit. And I don't know, just make enough money so I can take care of my family, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not really sure.
Okay, thank you. Well, I mean, it can be anything, because basically, because I feel like sometimes the millennials, they get the message where success is like the material things. I don't know if you are, but like for me, I wanted to not tell, like to create, like, you know, you're a content creator. You're trying to get your message out there. You're trying to open that, right? What do you, how I say this? How do I bring this into, when it comes to your viewers and subscribers, what would you like to tell them? What message would you like to tell them that that if you would you like to tell them if you have the chance to tell them?
I think I'm trying to think how to word it really. My message is that I guess to just, if you have an idea, try to make it happen. You know, it doesn't matter what you got going on or whatever. Like I've said, with my anxiety and stuff, I never thought I would be doing something like this. You know, anything like that, and actually have that many people watching me. You know, again, I get nervous talking to one person. So, you know, just try to get out there, do what you want to do. Don't care what other people think on it, because most time people are just trying to, you know, that it's just do what you think. If you have a good idea, go for it. You might as well. I mean, you got one life. You need to. I'm trying to find a way to say this without it being sappy, but just do what you want to do. You know, that's because again, this is just something to me that I never thought would be anything possible, especially with what what I got going on. And yeah, I mean, if you got a good idea, you want to do something, you want to make a change, whatever, go for it. I hope that sounds good. I'm not good at saying it. I feel like there's a message in there somewhere.
That's good, man. I enjoyed that. What was it? I had it. What was it? Well, I almost had it, but I lost it. But when it comes to, do you consider yourself as an entrepreneur? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself as
yeah, because that's one of the reasons I like doing this. I don't have a boss. You know, I guess YouTube kind of feels like one sometimes, but I created this myself. I mean, well, of course, without, you guys out there, it wouldn't work, but it's just, I have a lot of pride in it because it was something I was able to do, and I've worked hard on it. There's some nights I, stay up late editing and all that. And yeah, I guess I would consider myself an entrepreneur. I guess all YouTubers really are. I mean, it's just cool that we're able to make our own job or, do something we enjoy, and it can help us with life, make money to live, and you're doing something you like. So I guess I would consider myself one.
Thank you. Do you understand, since you make a ton of content, do you understand the algorithm, as most people don't understand the algorithm? Because I think I listened to you, one of the, talk about it. I don't know.
Kind of.
Do you?
I feel like we all are trying to figure out the algorithm. I feel like even like PewDiePie doesn't know the algorithm. Like they change it so much. It's insane. Like I'm sure he knows more than me. He has way better connections, I'm sure too. But I don't know if any of us know, because with YouTube it can just be, this is how it works. Boom, new update. It's all gone. We're doing something completely different now. I do know that from what I've learned is you want to try to make simple thumbnails, and you want to try to hit that 10-minute mark if you can. But also, I don't like to drag on a video if I don't need to, because, but for some reason, YouTube likes 10-minute videos, and it seems like simple things usually really help. And of course, if you can clickbait and help with that too. I never did much of that, but I mean, I probably should. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the best advice I could give someone's like trying to figure out the algorithm is try to go for that 10 minutes without just trying to throw in stuff to make it that long. And just be informative and stuff too, because that will keep people listening and watching. And yeah, I mean, that's like what I understand. But again, I mean, I feel like with YouTube, you could think you know everything about it, and then the next day it all changes. So I don't know.
Right. Wait, what did you say? The last part I didn't hear you because they keep cutting off.
I feel like with YouTube, it can all, you feel like you know everything about it, and then it can all just change though, and then you're back to square one. So it's hard to give advice on it, I feel like, or maybe I just don't know everything I should on it.
No, yeah, sorry, because basically most people would consider you're really a successful YouTuber, and you have like influence. Well, some people have influence too, but let's see, what else did I touch base on? I know that if I haven't touched base on, I'm trying to think of something helpful for not only your viewers, my viewers, but the world. Because for me, the reason why I have a mission is because I think the world is really messed up in a way, and that if we have like something in us to inspire something within us, then we should, like you said, we should do it, right? And that's what make me do this type of interviews. I'm glad that you came to them, man. So like, okay, which I wish we could like spend time doing with each other. That'll be great. That'll be awesome. Back in the day, my story was I watched Yugioh, and then there was in middle school, we had like libraries, and I was in the library. But the thing is, I was playing, like you said, we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh the wrong way, and so I was kind of put the blue eyes on the bottom and then shuffle on the top and try to win. That's cheating. That's no way to win.
We did the same. We did the same. I
Do
mean,
you think? So go ahead.
no, I'm just
Wait,
did the same where I came from too. I mean, it was the same thing. You put that blue eyes on the top of the deck, and that's just what you do. Or Exodia. Some people had Exodia, so they just win. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Did you ever had like two-way duels, like tag team?
Mm-hmm. We did some tag team dueling and stuff, of course, for fun with friends.
What do you? Because did you have the dual disc back then? Because I remember we had the dual disc. For me, but did you have a?
I didn't get one back then, but I have two of them actually over there now. So I got them like later on, but I didn't get one back in the day because I wasn't able
Which
to.
one do you have? Which one do you have?
I have the original, and I have the Silvery Calcos.
Yeah, sorry. Did you like Synchros when they came out? Because I think I
I'm sorry, what? It cut out.
No, did you like Synchros? Because I love Synchros.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of Synchros. I thought they were cool because I liked it if it was like one of the first types of summoning, because of course before Xyz and everything, where it was something that made you use a weaker monster, a tuner monster, than with a stronger one to make something new. Because again, like I said back in the day, my strategy was use a bunch of strong monsters. So it made that was pretty much everyone's strategy probably, like in Duel Links or something, right? You want to try to get something strong. In most cases, of course, Duel Links has evolved more since then, but it was kind of a way to get more people to use some weaker monsters to then go for a greater monster, go for a synchro summon. So I always thought it was a cool form of summoning.
What do you think? Because at first, when I was going into it, it was kind of hard to learn. I was like, what the heck is this mechanics? Like, do you think that? Because it like for me right now, I'm building a full deck, right? And it's based on summoning. What do you think about it? Like fusion summon. What do you think about it? Like summoning?
I guess I'll go through the list really. Ritual summoning is probably my favorite form of summoning. I still enjoy when we see something new for that. I always thought that was one of the cooler ideas. Fusions, I like fusions. I've always liked that idea as well. Just take two monsters together. I mean, that's been since the beginning too. Synchros, again, like I said before on that, because it was a strong monster and a weak one in most cases, and there you go. And then it became building off of that. And then you end up having like Quasar at the end of it. So Xyz is probably the form of summoning I think that messed up Yu-Gi-Oh more than any other, because people always say pendulums, but Xyz summoning is probably the easiest form of summoning and has made some of the scariest cards out there. I mean, you have Excite on Night. We can go with even Utopia the Lightning easily nowadays. I'm not saying totally breaking the game, but there's some. I feel like it's the easiest form of summoning and can make some of the scarier cards. Pendulum was okay. I didn't like pendulums at first. I got used to them. Now I really like pendulum magicians, so I'm looking forward to that structure deck for that reason. And link summoning, I'm still kind of meh about link summoning, just because I kind of miss the days where we could go. Well, we had Arc 5 that was celebrating every form of summoning. And then the next season or next series is, no, you have to use links and you can't do all these forms of summoning anymore. And I was just like, what? Because it just happened like Zark was literally the boss of that. And that was, Yugioh was able to summon all the dragons. And he even had rituals and stuff too. And it was like, okay, cool, And then we got the new rules. It's like, well, you can't even do like they did in the show because it's totally changed. I mean, yeah, if you link and do everything correctly, you can still do some crazy stuff, but not as crazy as it was. So link summoning is probably my least favorite, but I'm not like, oh, I hate the game now, I broke it or nothing. I'm just kind of like, whatever. Game has to evolve, I guess. But that's still probably my least favorite.
Yeah, it's really hard when you want to summon like fusion or synchro that you want to get out there, because it used to be like synchros and fusion so fast, right? Like for our Elemental Heroes, but we can't do that.
Yeah.
And between the cross, well, you said something, but I can't remember between. Oh yeah, you like black ones, don't you? I remember you say you like black ones, right?
Yeah, they were one of my favorites from the Synchro days. I thought they were well,
What
they
do you like?
for the longest time. I don't get why people make fun of them now. They were actually, I mean, yeah, they're not as strong as they were back then, but they were scary back in the day. They kind of remind me of even like how Salmon Great's doing right now. It's just kind of one of those decks that just kind of came out and then swarmed the field and craziness. So they were probably the first good synchro archetype, honestly.
Hmm. When you first open these packs of like nostalgic, where they, where they, because I saw people, or I think I don't know if I watched your video for a pack on the Yugi, where they have, no, you did the Japanese version of the Yugi, the first Yugi, where he had the Exodia and all that. What do you think about the nostalgia? How come you have like Japanese? Do you like Japanese better than the English one?
Not really. I mean, the reason I collect a lot of Japanese stuff is because well, first off, I like to collect a lot of cards. I mean, that's why I do so many openings. But I always like that because I can get the same card, like one of my favorite cards, as different rarities. So it's kind of cool to have another language one. And then, of course, Japan always gets, it seems like, the better rarities on things, like the 20th Secret Rare. We're not getting that in dual power, unfortunately. And Collector's Rare. They still have Ultimate Rares really easily. I mean, we have them here and there, like in OTS packs, but they're in main sets for them. And even Ghost Rares are holographic, I guess, for them, holographic rare. But I like to collect OCG cards, Japanese cards, mainly because it's like, hey, I really like this card. It's in like 4 other rarities for Japan, only 1 for us. So I like to get the other rarities of them. And like I said, Ghost Rares are still going on for Japan, so I try to get all those. So that's kind of the reason I collect a lot of that. And also, too, I like doing those openings because it's like a sneak preview before the sneak preview. So it's just fun and also I can explain to people, hey, this is one that you should probably look out for, but more than likely, yeah, it's a common for Japan. It'll be an $80 secret rare for us. So you never know. But that's usually how it works. It's like, oh, yeah, this is easy to get. It's a super Nolna. That's awesome. It'll be a $100 secret rare when it comes out for us, I still say. It's just kind of fun to do that. And like I said, I just like being able to get the cards earlier than what we have to wait on, because certain ones we still don't have that Japan's had for even years. So
yeah, it's kind of, yeah. I remember those. It still happens, but I remember those days where I heard about the Japanese getting cards first and the TCG. Well, I didn't even know the. When it comes to Konami, do you because basically I wanted to also inspire people to do that dream. Because one of the video you get, how did you get set products from Konami? Is it sponsors?
Here and there. I don't work with them much. I work more with Big and Collectibles. But with Konami, they actually just emailed me one day, because I remember I tried talking to them, I don't know, years ago, and then they didn't really want to do any sponsorship stuff, because I think back then too they didn't like YouTube. Like a lot of companies still don't really like YouTube. But then it's been like the past year or so, they actually started contacting me and they're like, hey, you want to do a video with us? And sure. And so they contact me every so often and do that. So I've only had a few times like that. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I don't see why they don't do more of that anyway, because it's like, it's a cheap advertisement for them. I get a video out of it. It's awesome. So I hope they're going to continue to do this more in the future. Hopefully they're getting kind of loosening the grip a little bit and not so afraid of YouTube. So, because I think, we can help each other out a lot more. And I know they're working with a lot of other YouTubers now too, which is awesome. I'm glad to see they're kind of doing that now.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, because most companies are afraid to use video as to market their product, right? To promote their products. That's what you're kind of doing, right? Through your opening packaging, you're marketing their product, but it's also because you love it. And do you think as you learn and progress your as a YouTuber, do you think that you learn also the side of marketing as well?
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten better at that kind of stuff. Like I know how to talk to these companies now. Like that was something that was scary back in the day, being younger, especially. Like I think I started this channel when I was, I don't know, maybe 16, 17 or something. I don't know. It's been a while, it feels like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
you started young.
Yeah, I've had to learn that kind of stuff, how to read a contract, you know, and you've kind of learned how to do certain things like that. Even with YouTube, you know, you have to learn the algorithms, and so you almost get kind of an idea on how marketing works in a way. So it's been really helpful on that because, like I said, just learning how to talk to these companies and make sure that you're saying everything right, you know. Because again, you feel like if you especially talk to a lot of companies that don't like YouTube, you just want to try to be a good example. So maybe if everything works out with me, then they'll work with more guys in the future, and yeah, and then more Yugitubers can work with Konami, I hope. But you know, like how with video games when they come out, we've had that like the last 5 years now, where a lot of these video game companies are finally like, yeah, we want to work with these YouTubers, and you know, they get the video, we get big advertising. So I'm hoping that these other things like Konami start doing that as well. And it kind of looks like they're headed that way, at least. So hopefully, I know now they're letting people record at tournaments at a special spot, but they're getting there. So I'm glad on that. And yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot of marketing from this in a way. I mean, I still obviously don't have a degree or anything, but I feel like I've gotten smarter on it. So.
When you talk about video, did you play the? I can't remember that. It was a PS2 game for Yugioh, but what was it? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Duelist Rose.
Rose. Huh? Yeah. What do you think about it? Because I played that so many times.
I played it a little. Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. The old games are always so weird for Yu-Gi-Oh! Like they're nothing like the game, especially at the beginning. I remember the original Game Boy Color game, and there's a lot of monsters that we know of, and they were much weaker in that. And I think most of the monsters in that game were like not even 1,000 attack, and it was like so weird. So I know Dulce Rose was kind of like that. I remember Falsebound Kingdom for GameCube. That was almost like a capsule monster thing. I don't know. It wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh, but it had Yu-Gi-Oh characters. Of course, that was around that time too. They even had a Capsule Monsters game and Dungeon Dice Monsters, where they were trying so many different things. So I remember a lot of those that weren't really Yu-Gi-Oh, but they used Yu-Gi-Oh characters. It felt like. So yeah, I remember a bunch of those different ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Well, thank you so much for the information that can help so many people who do want to do their passion, because I think that people always talk about passion, but we don't talk about the side of passion, right? You have to at least know a little bit about marketing, and you often talk about promoting your products or whatever, like stuff like that. That's what I'm getting at for people, where when they go toward whatever they wanted to go, actor, for me, interviewing people, I do book reviews, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to understand these algorithm, search engine, whatever, because YouTube is a search engine.
Yeah.
And people
like Google, I mean, they own them, but yeah,
quite not understand that.
It's searched a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and you remind me of how it was so hard at the beginning to get people to interview because I didn't know how, right? Mm-hmm. I thought interviewing was a job, and so I read a couple of books, and I have a best-selling author who was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey. Guide me through understanding of how to do an interview. Mm-hmm. So that's how I process. So thank you so much for your time. Where can we find you? You said Caleb, right?
Yeah.
Your name is Caleb, right?
Yes, Caleb Baker.
Okay, because I want to make sure I want to hear right. Okay. Where can we find you on social media or YouTube?
On YouTube, I go by just Cyberknight now. I think now if you just type in Cyberknight will work, but you can add the 8610. I think either one works. I'm on Twitter, which I think is Cyberknight8610 still at that one. I've changed a few, and I'm trying to use Twitter more. As you can tell, I didn't even know really how messages worked. When I was talking to you, I was like, okay, I hope I do this right. I'm not used to Twitter. And on Facebook, I'm just Cyberknight on that too. So I think you pretty much search for Cyberknight. You'll find me on everything, I'm sure.
Well, thank you so much, man. You've been like helpful to me and to your audience and my audience to see a different worldview that coming from you. Mm-hmm. And I will leave all the description for your YouTube and all that, and I'll message you on Twitter. All right?
Okay.
I'll see you. Right? Have a good day. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.